MMA just might be the most equal mainstream professional sport. Here's what I mean by that. We all know that in many sports there are either barriers to entry which ensure that only athletes from a certain social and/or economic background make it to the pros, and some sports are heavily dominated by people of specific ethnic backgrounds for various reasons. To give you an example regarding the first point, sports like hockey require purchase of equipment as well as necessary infrastructure such as a hockey rink in order to participate. The same can be said about sports like swimming, gymnastics, golfing, and you get the idea. On the opposite end of the spectrum, you have a sport like running, where as long as you have 2 legs, you can participate in the said sport. Where does MMA fit into all of this? Fighting is available to everyone, especially at younger ages. Even in safest countries with legal mechanisms to prevent street fights, you have school fights between teenagers that do not result in any jail time. At its core, fighting is available to everyone. The only thing that makes it less accessible than running is that depending on which martial art you do pick, you will need to buy equipment. And depending on what part of the world you live in, you may need to buy memberships at a martial arts gym. Usually poorer parts of the world, especially the countries of the former Soviet Union, have government-subsidized martial arts programs such as wrestling and boxing, where the student would only need to get the gear. Getting a singlet with some shoes or a pair of gloves, while a barrier in itself isn't a huge one. Meanwhile, in the Western world, there aren't many government-subsidized martial arts programs, and a McDojo can charge a ridiculous amount for a membership and require all types of gear and equipment. However, that balances out as an average person in the West also earns a lot more money than someone in the Third World. MMA is therefore a sport in which many people from lower and middle socioeconomic classes can participate in versus sports like golf, swimming, hockey, and etc., which can have numerous barriers. Mixed martial arts are also unique in the sense of being accessible through different paths. If someone wants to make it to the NBA, then no matter where they live in the world and no matter what their culture is, they have to play basketball and play it under same or mostly similar rules or facilities. Meanwhile, with MMA, the road to success can be achieved through many different ways. Since boxing and freestyle wrestling are popular in America, one can begin training in those disciplines until they develop themselves to the point of being ready to transition into MMA. That opens up a large part of the world and their respective cultures, as Thais can participate in the locally available Muay Thai and then transition. The Japanese can do so through karate or judo, and the people from the Eastern Bloc can do it through either combat sambo or their folk style of wrestling. This brings me to my next point regarding MMA being pretty equal in terms of ethnicity and culture. Currently, among the champion ranks, the entire spectrum of the world is represented. We have Sean O'Malley, Sean Strickland, and John Jones representing America. Leon Edwards represents both Jamaica and the UK. Alexander Volkanovski represents Australia and the Balkans. Weili Zhang represents China, and Latin America is represented by Alex Pereira, Alexandre Pantoja, and Alexa Grasso. So I guess being Latin and named Alex gives you a great chance at becoming a UFC champion. The only part of the world currently not represented is Africa. But UFC has had 3 concurrent African champions very recently, with the last losing only a few months ago, and a possibility of another African champion in just 2 weeks, when South Africa's finest Dricus looks to bring the trophy back to the motherland. Shavkat Rakhmonov, representing Kazakhstan, also has a great shot at delivering the belt to his homeland in 2024. You can watch our breakdown of Shavkat's top qualities here. The trend is clear. As MMA becomes a bigger sport worldwide, you see different regions of the world storm into the game and bring their own unique elements to reach success. Another reason not mentioned so far is how different body types and forms of athleticism can find success in MMA. Certain sports have limitations when it comes to body types and muscle types that can succeed. In soccer, for most positions, it's better off if your center of gravity is lower. Meanwhile, in basketball, regardless of position, the taller you are, and if you have fast twitch muscles, then you will be successful, which is seeing someone shorter than 6 feet is an extreme rarity in the NBA. MMA, however, being an individual sport, divides up the fighters by weight class, therefore any size of a human can compete. And the most popular division is usually the lightweight division, the athletes of which are comparable in size to your average human. Also, MMA is welcoming to both types of muscle composition. If you have fast twitch muscle, you can train to be an explosive fighter who can end a fight with a single strike or go for electrifying takedowns and throws. Fighters like Yoel Romero, Jailton Almeida, and Francis Ngannou come to mind when you think of this type of a fighter. If you possess the slow twitch muscle fibers, you can run through opponents by outlasting them with your pressure. That may not be extraordinarily damaging, however, it is constant and wears down your opponent, causing them to quit mentally. These types of humans are also good with grappling heavy approaches where they clinch and use top control. Fighters like Mirzaev and Khabib come to mind. So no matter your size or your muscle composition, if you craft the right strategy and a skill set for your body and muscle type, you can achieve success in MMA just like anyone else would be able to. In this sense, MMA is even more equal than running as short-distance running favors fast twitch muscle fibers, while long-distance running favors slow twitch endurance runners. What do you guys think? Do you agree that MMA is the most equal sport? Do you disagree? Whatever your thoughts are, make sure to drop them in the comment section below. If you enjoy this type of content, please subscribe to our channel and press the notification bell button so that you don't miss our next video drop.